hour is here.
Check it out.
And you're locked on to Utah's highest rated, most listened to sports radio station.
It's my station. It's my station.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, let's get it. Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. All right, folks. This is Christmas for me and Hans. We were here last month. It is time to get it going again. And we want to see you down here in the district. We are live at Kenny J's in the district in South Jordan. Just pop open your phone, type in Kenny J's. It'll take you right here, right next to the movie theater here in the district. And we're going to give you some great lunch. I am telling you, folks, this is the place you need to be. This is barbecue done right. There's been flashes of good barbecue in Salt Lake City, and then, and then it goes away. Well, guess what? This is real deal Texas post oak, low and slow, offset, monstrous propane tank turned into a 1,000-gallon smoker. This is done right here at Kenny J's.
And this isn't a huge corporation that's rolling in with a big name.
No.
That has billions of dollars, and they just drop in a quick stop to see if it works, and then they'll be out of the market as quickly as they can if it doesn't. This is two people with an amazing dream. This is a husband and a wife that had an amazing dream and have always loved barbecue. They've loved to cook barbecue. They've got the Texas flair. They took everything they own and they put it into this.
Yeah.
And they've perfected the smoking process. They buy all the top-end meats, and they're making sure that this place is going to be around for their family. They did it because they wanted to leave a legacy for their kids. So, Scotty and I, it means something to us. So come in, grab some nachos, the brisket nachos, the pulled pork nachos. The chips are house-made. They're fried in a beef tallow, and they stay crispy underneath that nacho cheese and the cowboy beans that they put on top and all the amazing meat that's piled on top. So the chips stay really crispy. You're going to love the nachos, but come in and just try their 3-meat plates. Try their brisket and their ribs. I would go brisket, ribs, and pulled pork, just the classic 3. But they do have the sausage in today. I think Kenny told us we got sausage in today.
Let's go. We did not try the sausage.
Well,
that's going to change.
We got to get after that. Got to get after that.
Beautiful facility, too. I just tweeted out a video, and just trust me, you're going to want to watch that video.
Yeah. You're going to want to see the video because there might be something in it for you.
Yes. At Scotty G Zone, Hans made an appearance in it as well, so make sure to give that a gander, and then come on down here as fast as you can to Kenny J's Barbecue.
Okay, I know that we're jam-packed with the show today, and we don't have any time to go off any rails, but I'm going to take us off some rails for a minute.
Hey, it wouldn't be a show if we didn't do that.
Because it is jam-packed. I mean, it is just a crazy free agency show, and NBA and NHL news galore and 1,000 things. But I'm trying to get ready for Big 12 Media Days.
Yeah.
We got one more show after this, and then it's kind of like Big 12 Media Days, prep, and I'm off, I think, on Tuesday is when I head out to Dallas, and then you and I are going to be doing joint shows, and we're going to blow this thing up.
They let me go to Vegas. I don't get to go to Frisco with you, but you'll be representing the show down there.
And then I'm going to come hang out in Vegas.
Yes. Then that's when the fun really begins.
Yeah, we're going to hit some Victory Burger. We're going to hit some Giordano's.
Yep.
We'll have a good time in Vegas.
Yeah.
Vegas has got some great food. Like, when we sit here in Kenny J's and you got that amazing barbecue, that smoke smell that hits your nose, you're like, man, our state has been hungry for these types of establishments.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Like, you go to Vegas and you can find something like this. You get the big money people that come in with these great ideas. We need more establishments like this in the state of Utah, like good eateries.
And the problem is, once you get one established, then private equity swoops in and buys it up and then puts 50 more of them up, and then they lose the value.
And I get to feel Kenny J.
No, Kenny J did this for his family.
He's not doing that.
Nope.
So it's exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry to take you off the rails for a minute. But I am trying to put together, I've been working on this all morning. I'm trying to put together my top 16 QBs in the Big 12. And I'm trying to rank them. I know you saw the thing that's come through. I think Nate put out an email and congratulated Lloyd on his amazing idea to rank teams in the Big 12. Awesome idea. But I'm trying to rank quarterbacks. And
Lloyd's not even listening.
Nobody's listening. It's almost like this is the 10 to noon show. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm trying to rank the top 16 quarterbacks in the Big 12. I need you to help me put it together.
All right.
Where do you start?
It's a good job, Lloyd. I like this idea.
Lloyd peaked it. Because I want to make sure I go to Frisco with a good idea of what it's all about. And it's kind of hard putting this list together. There's a lot of good quarterbacks returning.
Yeah, there's a lot of great quarterbacks.
In fact, just to give people an idea, like just to paint the picture of the Big 12 quarterback situation. The Big 12 has the number 7 quarterback in the country in terms of yardage, returning. The number 8 in the country in terms of yardage. The number 21, 23, 27, 37, 43, and 49. You've got 8 quarterbacks returning that are in the top 50 in terms of yardage. 8 quarterbacks returning to the Big 12 that are in top 50 in terms of yardage.
And you're not including Retzlaff.
No. And I'm also not real sure because I didn't look at one or two of these guys, but I am including Devin Dampier.
As you should.
Yeah, I am including Devin Dampier in this. And the other thing is, I am not including rushing yardage as much as I need to, because if I did, then you'd get guys like Avery Johnson that would probably be up there in terms of rankings. So this is tough, man.
All right, well,
I put a lot of time into this.
I think it. So number one seems to be, I don't know, like I think Sam Levitt is near the top, but then you got Sawyer Robertson, you got Avery Johnson, and so that are all clamoring for that top spot. To me, I go Sam Levitt.
Okay, so I've got Sam Levitt number 2.
Okay.
Sam Levitt came in at 2,885 yards last year, 24 touchdowns to only 6 interceptions as a true freshman. And it's really hard for me to not put him number 1 because he was efficient, he was very young, and he's got an offense that seems like, now you're taking his running back away, but he's got an offensive line coach that does a great job in different run support and an offensive scheme that's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
It's a good offensive scheme. So I'm going Sam Levitt number 2. Am I way off my rocker and putting Baron Morton number 1?
Ooh. Wow. I like it. No?
Baron Morton with Texas Tech. He's got it. He's got it pretty much all. He's got everything that you need from a quarterback. He was 8th in terms of passing yardage in the country last year as a junior. He's coming in as a grizzled veteran now. He's thrown for 3,335 yards last year. He went 27 touchdowns to only 8 interceptions. And by the way, that's not even the top returning numbers for the Big 12. Josh Hoover's got the top returning numbers for TCU. And I do have Josh Hoover number 3. But if we're talking about quarterback play, we got to talk about offensive management. We got to talk about offensive yardage. But we also got to talk about being able to run the offense that you're asked to run. And so you got to include guys like Dampier, and you got to keep guys in mind like Avery Johnson. But you know how much I love a quarterback that can sit in a pocket and can throw a ball. So right now I've got Baron Morton 1, Sam Levitt 2, Josh Hoover 3. And this is where it gets tough because then you start working in the Avery Johnsons or you start working in the Devin Dampierres or
Rocco Beck.
Yeah, but it's hard to get away from Sawyer Robertson.
Yeah, that's I'm just I just pulled up Phil Steele's. His first team, he's got Sawyer Robertson. Second team, Avery Johnson. Third team, Sam Levitt. Fourth team, Rocco Beck.
Wait, give those to me again.
Sawyer Robertson, first team. Avery Johnson, second team. Sam Levitt, third team. Rocco Beck, fourth team.
Wow. So I've got Rocco Beck coming in at number 5.
So, but here's the thing. I'm not saying he's right. I'm just saying that's how crazy this Big 12 conference is.
Oh, I think, when I was sitting down really getting into this quarterback thing, I think people are highly underrating how good the Big 12 offenses can be.
Yeah.
I think Big 12 offenses are going to be incredible. This is another thing I came across in my studies this morning. And this is bonkers. You know how we always we always say, well, it takes more than one quarterback. Well, you better have a good quarterback room. Listen to this. Sam Levitt played 12 of 13 available games. Rocco Beck played 13 of 13. Josh Hoover played 12 of 12. Baron Morton played 12 of 12. Avery Johnson played 12 of 12. Jalen Daniels played 12 of 12. By the way, what do you even do with Jalen Daniels?
Who was at one point the Big 12 2 years ago offensive preseason player of the year.
Exactly. And he played 12 of 12 last year. Brennan Sorsby, another guy. What the hell do you do with Brennan? 12 of 12. Noah Fafita, 12 of 12, which 2 years ago Noah Fafita was projected as being potentially the top returning quarterback for 2024. Jake Retzlaff went 12 of 12. Shedeur Sanders
12
went 12 of 13.
Yeah,
that's right. Or Jake went 13 of 13. Shedeur went 13 of 13.
Yeah. That's nuts.
That's nuts.
That's the craziest number you've thrown out in a year.
Sawyer Robinson, who I didn't mention. Sawyer Robertson, 11 of 12. I was compiling these numbers because I'm like, oh, well, I got to check quarterback rooms if I'm going to feel good. But I was compiling the numbers of who missed what because I was trying to figure out, well, I was taking a look at backup quarterback numbers. Like, well, who's going to have backup quarterback numbers were non-existent.
Yeah.
They didn't see the field unless it was cleanup time. It was bonkers.
That's not even – and by the way, that's not even just injuries. That's like poor play. Usually guys get benched.
Right.
Somebody does.
I will tell you this. As far as benching, KJ Jefferson got benched. He was 5 of 12. It wasn't because of injury.
No.
He was benched. And DeQuan Finn was 2 of 13 before they brought in Sawyer Robertson. So DeQuan Finn played 2 of 13. Sawyer got playing time in that third game and then took over from there and went 11 of 12 available at that point. So other than that, you had quarterbacks that made it. There was some crossover with Houston where Donovan Smith, I think, got injured, or did he get switched out for Zion Chris kind of later in the season?
Yeah,
I can't
remember the story there.
The exact story. But Houston has a guy named Connor Weidman who, a lot of projections have him in the top 5. So I don't know. And then you got Nico Marichal, who's going to be back for West Virginia. UCF is bringing in Traven Jackson. And Colorado has Cadian Salter, Juju Lewis. Those two. That's it. And they'll have a quarterback battle between those two, and that's it. Other than that,
and then BYU in their situation,
and BYU's in their situation, and see that's going to be tough because I'll take just the 3 quarterback options that they have right now. You can't realistically put them in the top 10 of the Big 12.
No. Now, at the end of the season, who knows? Maybe Hillstead goes off or Bachmeier goes off, and they're great, and they're right there at the top. But you can't in good conscience right now do that.
I can't.
No.
But I can do that with Devin Dampierre because
there's a body of work there.
There's a full body of work there with New Mexico. Okay, so How would you do it? What would your top three be?
My top three.
My top three are Baron Morton with Texas Tech, Sam Leavitt with Arizona State, and Josh Hoover with TCU. And I'm talking about quarterback play. That's what I'm talking about, base quarterback play.
So it's who I want behind center or in shotgun that's going to help me win games.
Yeah.
Not necessarily who's the best passer, who's the best runner, any of that stuff.
Who you got as the best quarterback?
I would go Sam Leavitt, number 1, Sawyer Robertson, number 2, and
you love Sawyer.
I do love Sawyer, and I actually like Rocco Beck too. I'm gonna put Beck at 3.
Rocco Beck, 3,505 yards passing, 25 touchdowns to just 9 interceptions, and he finished as the 23rd in terms of passing yards in the country last year.
Yeah, give me Rocco Beck.
Okay, do you remember, you go back like 2 or 3 years ago to old Pac-12 play. In fact, I think it was one of the times that you came out to California for Pac-12 Media Days. Yeah, he was, because you and I sat there and interviewed some of the quarterbacks. Do you remember the quarterback rooms in that year?
The very first year we were down there for Pac-12 Media Day, and you and I were at different radio stations, there was Andrew Luck. There was Nick Foles, who won a Super Bowl. There was who was the guy who played for the Broncos, and then he's retired, big, tall guy. But the Broncos don't win a Super Bowl that year if not for him. Funky name. Went and played for the Texans. Why am I spacing his name? Starts with a B, I think. Anyway, you know who I'm talking about. USC had a really good quarterback at the time.
Barkley?
Yeah. I mean, the conference was loaded with – yeah, I think it was Barkley.
He was like a first-round pick.
Yeah. And, the conference was loaded with quarterbacks. And we're just like, wow, another one. Wow, another one. And these were all NFL guys that had solid NFL careers.
I look at these guys, Josh Hoover, Baron Morton, Sawyer Robinson, Rocco Beck, Noah Fifita, who I thought was going to transfer out of Arizona.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't.
Even Noah Fifita projects, like, you got to look at him and be like, well, he could still be real dangerous. Hey, come on, Scotty. Like, the guy – now, Arizona didn't make any noise, but he was number 6 in the Big 12 in terms of passing yards at 2,958 yards. He had some interception issues, and he had some other problems. He wasn't protected as well. But if you protect Noah Fifita and give him a little bit of creativity, Noah Fifita and Jalen Daniels could top the list easily, Yeah.
And that's the thing. We could be talking about a quarterback that is not on anybody's radar, or somebody that we're putting in that 6, like Noah Fifita, 6'7" range, who could end up being the best quarterback and be the offensive MVP of the Big 12 easily. And frankly, Devin Dampier could be that guy.
He could absolutely be that guy. Did you just see that Utah has potentially 2 top 10 overall draft picks?
I think, what's the guy with the big hair? Mel Kiper.
Mel Kiper's got him
He's got 2 in the top 12.
Yes. He's got them both in the top 12. Your bookend tackles.
Yeah. That's a hell of a safety blanket to have as a quarterback.
Well, and, it's a lot of pressure to put on those tackles, but those are two, and Caleb Lomu and Logan Fano, and, offensive line is my world. I love it. I've been gushing about Logan since his senior year in high school.
Yeah.
That state championship final where my son went against Logan Fano and whatever school he played for. It's one of the first high school games I remember, and I watched Logan play 2 ways. He would switch over to 3 technique, and then he'd switch over and play tackle. Now, Lehigh ended up beating, was it Skyridge? I can't remember who he played for. Bountiful? I can't remember.
It wasn't Bountiful.
Can't remember the high school. But they took him to double overtime. Lehigh won in double overtime. But it was the Logan Fano show. He was doing it all, controlling the whole thing. And then when he showed up as a true freshman, his first year in the Pac-12, that's all I talked about was Logan Fano. So I've known that this guy is special for a lot of years. Caleb Lomu is the one that's caught everybody off guard. Like, geez. So if you put these 2 tackles And I think that they're pretty solid in the middle. You know, you'll hear from Kyle Whittingham on 2 other interior guys through our 60 and 60.
He's already talked about Kump.
So he did. He already talked about Kump.
Yeah.
So he's got one other that he'll talk about. It's just one other, right? It's not 2 others.
I think it's one other, yeah.
That offensive line is going to be really good. So you look at Coach Beck, who took over the offensive coordinating position, and you look at Devin Dampier, and you kind of look at him and say, there's a little bit of pressure on you guys. Like there's pressure.
Yeah.
You've got potentially 2 top 15 picks in the upcoming NFL draft up front. That should give your quarterback a lot of time and a lot of options. That's also pressure on Jim Harding.
Yep.
I think that those guys look around like, we better not muff this one.
Well, you go back to, that's the thing. I remember, who was it, the lineman at BYU that got drafted, Kingsley. And we were hyping that guy up, and he was supposed to be great. And then it just didn't quite live up to expectations. Now, and still ends up getting drafted, still ends up being part of a Super Bowl team in Kansas City. But you just hope that these guys are taking it to the next level. You hope that the hype doesn't get to them.
Well, could you imagine being Devin Dampier and knowing that?
Yeah.
And being like, wait a second. What it does is it changes your mindset.
Yeah.
Because when you show up to work and you've got the best around you, you can go 2 ways. You can settle in the chair and be like, well, I mean, everybody else just needs to do their job, and I just need to not mess it up.
And we'll be fine.
So I'll be all right. Or you show up and you say, hey, you're great. If I'm great, this could be really special. So I don't know Devin Dampier enough to know how he shows up. I do know Coach Beck enough to know that he'll show up, and I don't think he would have brought Devin unless he knew that it was going to be hey, you can all go be great together. As I put my numbers together for the upcoming Big 12 Media Days and really diving deep into the quarterback play, a couple things are very apparent. First of all, last year's Big 12 numbers of games available played by quarterbacks is astounding, and we might never see it again. The health rate,
you'll never see that again.
The health rate of quarterbacks in the Big 12 was bonkers. I didn't even bring up West Virginia. They had Garrett Green as a starter. He started 11-13, and I think Nico Marischal came in, was the bowl game and maybe the final game of the year.
Yep, I think you're right.
But even Garrett Green, who ran 3/4 of the time and took big hit after big hit, made it through. So that was one thing that stood out to me. The second thing that stood out to me is the Big 12 has a chance to be a standout conference because of the level of quarterback play that's available. These guys are returning yardage, and you've got some brilliant minds in there, a guy that you know extremely well. Coach Matt is coming back with Avery Johnson, and good luck.
Yeah.
Because I know he had a couple of opportunities, and he stayed. He wanted to coach Avery. He's happy with Kansas State, and I know that he can be murderous. So that and then ranking these guys is nearly impossible because adding in their rushing yards, their pocket presence, their arm strength, their touchdown to interception ratio, it's just bonkers. It's such a good mix. And then finally, the conclusion I came to as I was doing all this, Utah is in a very, very, very good situation offensively. Because they're going to catch defenses off guard. I think they're going to be unpredictable in terms of play calling, in terms of quarterback ability, in terms of rushing. As a defensive coordinator, because Coach Beck is so versatile, I don't even know what to plan for.
No, you have no idea.
So I think some of the early teams that Utah catches, I think Utah could have them spinning offensively.
Yeah, and if you just want to go back and watch New Mexico film, it's going to be quite a bit different because they have way more resources at Utah, Devin Dampier, and Coach Beck than what they had in New Mexico. They can do many different things.
And I can't wait to see Utah's offense.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see what they put on the field. And then, I've left BYU out because the quarterback situation it's just a complete mess right now.
Yeah, it's probably the best way to put it. All right, Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Olsen and Scotty G.
That's right. Yeah!
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Oh, boy. Almost had an autocorrect nightmare there. Pre-smoked burgers. Yeah. Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hope you're all having a great day. It is a Wednesday. Hey, let's load up the joint here. Kenny J's Barbecue. It is 12:39. I want to see this place absolutely packed by 1:30. So you come on by here. We're going to give you some great deals on some great barbecue. Plus, you can get 20% off your burgers that are already pre-smoked. They're 100% brisket. You can then take those home, put them in the fridge, and then on the 4th of July, put them on the grill, put them or the flat top, whatever you want to do, and people are going to be like, bro, your burgers. You're like, yeah, I know. It's just something I whipped up together. No big deal. You don't even have to tell people they came from Kenny J's. You can take all the credit in the world, and but you can come by here, get 20% off those burgers right now here at Kenny J's Barbecue.
Thing I forgot, Scotty, DJ Giddens declared for the draft.
So
he's
okay.
with the Colts now.
Okay.
Colts ended up taking him, and I'm just reading a story from Indy that's saying that he's already turning major heads. So that means the only one of your top 10 running backs from the Big 12 last year that's returning is Bryson Washington from Baylor. So the only quarterback running back combo that you're both top 10 that's going to be returning is Baylor.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about Baylor, you're returning Sawyer Robertson, who had 256 completions for 3,071 yards, and Bryson Washington, who checked in at number 7 in rushing yards in the Big 12 and number 26 nationally, because the Big 12 was loaded last year. You remember with Cam Scadaboo, Taj Brooks, R.J. Harvey, Devin Neal, Corey Kiner, loaded. Bryson Washington checked in number 7 as a freshman at 1,030 yards and 12 touchdowns, which put him 26th nationally. So you're going to pair up Bryson Washington and Sawyer Robinson at Baylor.
That's a problem. There's a reason why people are really high on Baylor right now. And Dave Aranda
it a lot.
Dave Aranda may have kept the Wolves at bay long enough to really stock up that offense and be really special. And I think you've got a chance to see them be really good. Texas Tech, there is so much momentum with Texas Tech. Our guy Shehan Jayaraji wrote a really interesting story about what's going on in Lubbock and all the money that they're spending down there. They've got a billionaire that's just pumping money into that program right and left. So they're loaded with
Texas Tech.
Talent. Yeah.
I've heard that. I've heard tons of money.
Yeah.
I've heard Texas Tech is one of the only ones that's really competing in terms of money with BYU.
Yeah. And, it's interesting, too, because of you've got these old – we joke about it all the time, Hans. This is your third year, right, of doing games? This upcoming year.
Yeah.
That first year when BYU wasn't expected to be very good, and they had their troubles. You'd go to a place and be like, oh, you fun, you nice Mormons. You come in here and you're just nice to everybody and
we
you treat
sure
everybody
are pleased
well.
To have you.
We sure enjoy having. Well, then last year you started whooping some ass.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, everybody's like, well, wait a minute, this isn't quite nice. We don't necessarily like this. And then all of a sudden BYU starts spending money like crazy and reeling on all these recruits, especially on the basketball front. And then people really started getting sideways.
Yeah.
And to me, this is BYU and kind of a high tide lifts all boats, because you can either complain about them or you can go to your donors and say, guess what? You can be and moan all you want, but we're going to have to match this if we want to be competitive. And Texas Tech is one of those schools that's being like, And I think BYU has a little bit to do with it, where they're like, we can't let BYU run rampant in our conference. They're the new guys. We can't let this happen. So you're seeing other schools, Texas Tech in particular, being like, all right, we got to spend. We got to spend big time.
And we'll see what happens with these restrictions as they come on. But because it's going to – I think it'll level the playing ground a lot. And I think it actually will level BYU more than it'll level Texas Tech. Because BYU will go through every appropriate medium to make sure that they are in compliance. Texas Tech might not be – I don't know them. But my guess is they wouldn't be as worried about name and reputation as BYU. Because I do think with these new guidelines that are going to be put in place with this House versus NCAA, I think it's BYU's going to have to follow them and comply, and it's probably going to draw them back a little bit. But in the meantime, they've brought in some great recruits that are locked into some NIL, and that's not saying they can't still spend because they'll be able to spend. But you talk about it, BYU was 2-7 in their first year in Big 12 play.
Yeah, lost, what was it, last 5 in a row?
Lost the last 5 in a row, and then they turned that around last year, have a completely different type of run, and they end up finishing 7-2 in Big 12 play. Their losses against Arizona State and Kansas. What was the one that doinked off the helmet?
It was it Kansas State?
I'm trying to remember. No, they beat Kansas State. I remember they beat Kansas State because that crazy beginning to the first half.
Their other loss was
Kansas.
To Kansas. Yep, you're right.
Yeah. Then you go 7-2. If I were to let's just say that let's compare BYU and Utah to thieves entering into the Big 12 to steal it. Okay? They were thieves coming in to steal the Big 12. BYU would be the neighbor that moved in next to you. They showed up at the front door, shirt and tie, a loaf of fruitcake, handshake, big smile. You welcome them in. You sit them down on the couch, and they're gracious and kind and loving. And then, they start talking to you about some real estate deals.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, yeah, you're into real estate? Yeah, I'd love it. Let me show you some plans that I've got. We're building out this. It's called the Dreamers Division. And we'd sure love to have your money. And looking real tight.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Lean and tight.
Yep.
Utah, if they were the thief, they're 320 pounds. They showed up at the door, shirtless. Person goes to open the door. They kick it open. They stomp in the house, tell them to stay on the ground while I take what I want. And it's just kind of unique because both of them are coming into the Big 12 to own it, to steal it, to just rake it clean. And to watch their approaches are very different and very unique, but both possibly very effective.
Yes.
Utah.
But make no mistake, the intent's the same.
The intent's the same.
Yeah.
And it is to own whatever that person in that house owns.
Yeah.
But do you see the thieves any different?
Nope. I think that's spot on.
Because Utah is not trying to make friends, and they're not trying to make amends. And look, I'm okay with that. And also, Utah is 11-2 season away and being in a Big 12 championship game in the next 2 years. They're one of those away from everybody saying, oh, that was the Pac-12 ownership that I remember. They ended up owning a conference that was, whatever it was, 80 years old, 70 years old. How old was the Pac-12? 80 years old?
Yeah, 80-something.
Oh, Utah. Okay, that's the Utah. I remember taking over the Pac-12 that had Oregon and USC and Washington. I remember those guys.
It may very well be this year.
So I know the people you talk to, and you know the people I talk to.
Yeah.
All they want is to show up and be ranked 16th.
Yes.
Even though there's not a preseason Big 12 poll, they want to show up and be ranked 16th.
In the
meantime, they got different plans.
When the Zone Sports, or when the KSL Sports Zone releases the Lloyd Cole inspired Big 12 rankings, Utah is going to want to finish 16th in
that. Scotty.
You started.
I was joking. You're being serious. Oh, okay. But yes, that's where they want to be.
Yep.
Oh, and they got no plans of being there.
Nope.
It's actually pretty funny. So it's going to be exciting because, I'm talking about these running back and quarterback combos that we know of. Like Baylor is really they're the only ones returning their top 10 quarterback, top 10 running back. It's not happening anywhere else. Utah is bringing in a top 10 quarterback and a top 10 running back of a given conference, or top 50 nationally. So we could see Wayshawn Parker and Dan Pierre join forces with two top 15 NFL draft picks at the tackle edge at the ends, and it could be something really special. And I think is Micah Simon coaching receivers at Utah?
Yeah.
Just so you know, he's a sneaky good coach.
Oh yeah, no, there's no doubt.
He's a guy that I trust.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about it, and Big 12 Media Days can't get here quick enough.
Let's get it, folks. Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Take a break, come back, and what you may have missed, remember the great Ron McBride is going to be hanging out with us at 1 o'clock. Mr. Oh, no big deal, Ring of Fame honoree. We'll talk about that with him coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jazz, Utes, Cougars, and Aggies? Yeah! We've got you covered. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G on 97.5, the Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hope you're all having a tremendous day. It is a Wednesday, which means, Hans, it is also a Win Ticket Wednesday. And right now, you can get those tickets. It's really simple. All you have to call is 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE, and you'll win a pair of tickets, Hans. Here you go to see Adam Sandler's You're My Best Friend tour, October 26th at the Delta Center.
Some what you may have missed today. Your Utah Mammoth have made a move, and I know people have heard about this move, and I don't know how excited to get about it. They brought in a new tender. His name's Vitek Vanashek.
Yep.
And
by the way, good job.
He has been all over the NHL.
Yeah.
He's been, I believe, with the Devils. I think he was with, most recently, he was with Florida. He had a stop in, trying to remember the stop just before he headed to Florida. I can't remember.
San Jose?
Okay, San Jose.
Yeah.
So he's been around the NHL, and he's got a great save rate. He's 90.2% save rate. So he's got a great save rate. He's got 188 games under his belt. He has 176 starts. He was drafted all the way back in 2014. So he has been around for a lot of years. It'll be 12 to be specific.
Yeah.
So he's got a ton of experience, and he just won a Stanley Cup. He's been behind Bobrovsky, who you and I have talked about as being the best postseason goalie in the NHL probably in the last 10 years. And now he comes and he'll share that knowledge with Utah Mammoth. So I'm excited about that. And then they brought in a 26-year-old forward, a guy named Kyler Yamamoto, who a couple of people that I know well in the NHL circuits told me that this guy, sorry, they didn't bring him in, he's been in, that this guy, when the Mammoth give him a chance, like a real chance, he's going to do a great thing, amazing things. But I think they extended him, what was it, a year or 2 years?
1 year, two-way contract.
Okay. So I've had people tell me that he needs a shot on the ice because he's going to be incredible. And he's been with the Mammoth.
Let's go. By the way, I'm ready for – you get to this point of the year, I never in July I'm like, man, I'm ready for the Jazz season to start. I'm always like – usually it's like September before I start thinking that way.
Yeah.
But right now I'm like, I need some hockey.
Yeah, why is that? Why am I more excited for the NHL season to start than the NBA?
Well, I think one team could be a playoff team.
Yeah, that's true.
One team is not.
Yeah, one team is currently being built as a contender.
Yes. All right, we are live here at Kenny J's Barbecue. This place is phenomenal, and Kenny's with us right now. And Kenny, this is going to sound like a real jerk thing to say, but when I go to barbecue places, I usually don't order ribs because I feel like I can make better ribs at home. Yeah. And I'm not that way with brisket because I haven't got brisket completely dialed in. But ribs, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to order something that I can make better at home. Guess what? Your ribs absolutely destroy my ribs. Just take them behind the woodshed. They are the best ribs that I've had ever.
I'm sorry, Scotty. I didn't mean to do that to you.
That's all right. I can live with that.
I like how Scotty bows his head as he says it too. He's like,
oh, hold on, Coach. Coach is here.
And if you want me to help you dial in your brisket, I will. I got no secrets. You want to know what we do, just come in and talk to me.
I like that too. You don't have any secrets. You'll walk somebody back to the smoker.
Yeah.
You'll open up the smoker. You'll show them your stoves.
Yeah. You just got to have enough capital to buy all that crap.
Yeah.
or debt.
Or debt.
Debt. Debt.
And that's the thing. I mean, you had a – and I'm putting words in your mouth here, but you had a pretty good life, CFO of a bank, and things were clicking along. And you're like, you know what? I feel like right now I'm going to throw all that to the wind, and I'm going to start a barbecue joint. I mean, there's a lot of skin in the game here.
A lot. Not because I'm fat. It's
not because I have a large body and plenty of skin.
Not because I'm 6'3", almost 6'4", and 285.
But I've got figurative skin in this too.
Yes. No.
But this is a dream, man. This is something you wanted to do, and I love this story. I love that you guys said, you know what, let's have some fun. Let's let it ride.
Got to do it. We're banking on the future here.
Okay, so I wanted to talk to you about this. Your meats are incredible. I was just talking to Brant, our tech, and he's like, what should I try? I said, start with the ribs. It really did knock Scotty and I's socks off. It's incredible. And then the topping that you put on it, it's kind of the
glaze.
Yeah. It's a glaze, and it's a thinner barbecue sauce that glazes the rib out perfect. So good.
Yeah.
The brisket, we've had the brisket, the pulled pork. The sausage is in now?
Yes. Yeah, we've got it. It's going good. But we'll bring back a tray. We'll bring a tray back here with a little bit of everything.
Oh,
because Coach McBride's here.
Yeah.
No, I almost gave him a hug. He doesn't even know who I am.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I'm Kenny J.
I know you're Kenny J. And then I think your wife's running the show over here, right?
She runs everything.
Yeah.
She runs
So,
everything. Everything except the pit.
Yeah. So when I walked in, she said, all right, this is my restaurant. I'm running the show.
No, she didn't say that.
No.
You might have thought that from how she talked. I'm trying to get her to come on the radio and talk a little bit, and she's like, no.
No, she will. Just tell her.
Yeah. Ron McBride, you get her too.
I will. Yeah.
Oh, Max persuasive.
I know.
He'll come back and get whatever done.
He got people to come to the U when we sucked.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. When we were horrible, we couldn't even fill the stands, and then Ron McBride starts bringing people
back in the 90s.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
I love
it.
So we're going to do this with Kenny G's restaurant.
I don't play the saxophone. It's Kenny J, Coach. Kenny G plays the saxophone.
Kenny
I don't.
J.
Kenny J.
Gee,
Yes.
I don't.
Scotty G, Kenny J.
I don't want to screw this up.
Hey, but a great Christmas album.
Yes.
Kenny G's Christmas album. Great Christmas album.
There you go.
But I wanted to ask you this. Your sides are incredible. When you sit down and you're like, okay, we're going to barbecue, and you got all the things that you got.
Yep.
How much time goes into the build-out on your sides, including your banana pudding?
Well, so the banana pudding we do a day in advance. And we actually just sent out a mailer to, like, a bunch of the South Valley. It has a free banana pudding coupon in it. So those have started coming in, and we've just been making a boatload of it. But it's like a an hour and a half process to make it, and then it sits in our walk-in overnight, and then it's portioned up. It's an 8-ounce portion. If you eat all of it, you will fall asleep on your way home.
You don't skimp on portions here.
No.
It's got cream cheese in it.
Cream cheese based, yes.
Like bits of cream cheese.
Like you bite into it, and you're just like, this is hearty and incredibly good.
Yeah.
We have a guy that works down at IFA here in Riverton, and he comes in and buys it like 6 or 7 at a time. And he'll come back and sit in the corner. He'll hammer a couple of them while he's here, and then he goes down to IFA and works. It's
love
crazy.
that guy.
That's our guy.
Yeah, like
That's
6
our
or 7
He's
at a
got to
time.
be a relative.
Yeah.
I'll look
No,
up family
he's not.
tree.
He's not. I've
No,
never
he's
met the
got to
guy
be
in
my relative.
Oh, and Olson.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I
There
mean,
you
if
go.
he's eating the banana pudding that way, he's in my family tree somewhere.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, Kenny J's Barbecue, so many great things going on right now. 20% off the pre-smoked burgers. So you can come on by here, grab all your pre-formed, pre-smoked burgers, and then you take them home, put them in the fridge, and then the 4th of July, you just throw them on the grill, and then Kenny is kind enough. He will let you take credit for it. So when people at your barbecue's like, whoa, what did you do with these burgers? You're like, it's just a little mix I came up with, no big deal. Kenny is responsible for making you a hero at your own barbecue. So
There you go. If that's what you want to do, yeah.
yeah, you can do that, and you're going to get 20% off. And by the way, those burgers are 100% pure Utah-grown brisket. So you can take advantage of that. We've got all kinds of great savings, great deals coming down here. This is the best barbecue in the state of Utah, in the western United States, bar none. Come by. It is Kenny J's Barbecue, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.